already know, my name is Jeremey Cohen. I have two groups. Probably the better known group of the two is called Quartet San Francisco. I don't know if any of you have heard any of our recordings, but it's a string quartet that falls into the category of either what's called classical crossover or alternative styles. I'm a classically trained violinist. I grew up in Oakland, California. I went to school in California, and then I came to New York, where I studied for 2 years with Itzhak Perlman at Brooklyn College. And I have been using my skills, both on the classical side and on the non-classical side, to make a career as a violinist and as a musician. I know a lot of you are young musicians who are looking forward to your futures, whether it be involved directly professionally as musicians or not, but most importantly as music lovers and people that play an instrument and care about music. And both of these things are critically important. A lot of young students and even adults are interested in what we call alternative styles. And since much of my career for the last 25 years has been in this world of alternative styles, I spent a lot of years looking for material to play. I'd go to every music store, everybody that had sheet music. I'd go filing through the stacks of music and looking for fun and interesting things to play that were not necessarily always classical music. The classical repertoire was easy to find. It's very available. But non-classical things are very difficult to find. And I also wanted to combine my abilities as a classical violinist with playing other styles of music. While I was in college, I went to Sonoma State College in California for 2 years before I came to New York and went to Brooklyn College. I started playing in bands with my friends. I had good pals that played guitar, played bass, played in different kinds of ensembles, and I was very interested in all types of music. And I think I was lucky because I had a violin teacher whose name was Anne Crowden, who I think your daughter Terry also studied with. And Anne would say to me, I don't really mind if you play in these other things, but you darn well ought to show up in the morning with your scales and with your etudes in good shape, or I'm cutting you off. Forget it. You can't do these things. So I was put in a situation where I was put under pressure to perform and continue my classical studies, and at the same time I could go out and work with these other types of musicians. Well, this sort of developed, and it kept developing, sort of a two-track career where I was having to toe the line as a classical violinist, and if I was going to stay out late, I'd have to wake up early and practice and get my fingers, in tip-top shape for my lessons. And I think I was lucky that way because not so many teachers do that. They really want you to toe the line. And I started to understand at that point that for me, and as you'll see today, and I'll demonstrate, technique is technique. Good playing is good playing. And bad playing is bad playing. And if something's out of tune, it's out of tune. And these matters apply not only to classical music, but to also other styles of music. Now, there are other techniques in non-classical music where we bend pitches more, or we make other types of sounds. You'll hear a lot about that from me today. So I went to college. I ended up going on the road with a Broadway show, and that show landed in Los Angeles. And I lived and worked in Los Angeles for 7 years. I played classical shows. I played shows. I played in some Glendale and Pasadena Symphony. In New York, when I was a student, I played in the New York Party Chamber Orchestra and New Jersey Philharmonic. And always had another side track where I was playing with friends in their bands. This often kept me out kind of late at night and forced me to get my business together so that when I had to perform as a classical violinist, these things never affected my abilities and my playing ethics. You know, I believe very much in playing appropriately in whatever style we play in, but having the equipment to play in alternative styles is a change of thinking for a lot of you, and a lot of you. How many of you have